So first I would like to introduce Mindy Ochs. She's the owner of Homestead Senior Care.
Yes.
Yes. And she's going to talk about staying happy and healthy during the holidays. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Maureen, for having me. At Homestead, we provide care for seniors in their home. So we see on a daily basis how people struggle with wintertime and holidays and maybe not having family close. So we're very excited to be able to come and share some ideas with you guys today. So lots of different things happen during the holidays. We have winter weather. Fortunately, it's just now starting to kick in, but we'll talk about a little bit of winter safety. People are more cooped up in their homes during the winter, which leads to vitamin D deficiency and just a feeling that the walls are closing in on you. Another struggle that we see is that I think more than ever families are broadly spread out throughout the country. So we don't have that close-knit community close at home like we used to. Holidays can be very expensive, not only the extra meals, but the travel costs and the pressure that we put on ourselves to provide a very wonderful Christmas for our family. All of this leads to a lot of stress. And for some of us, if we don't have family in the area, maybe too much free time to really focus on the things that bring us down, like not having family close. So we'll talk about some ways to backfill some of that time. So when I tell you it's 17 days until Christmas, did you get really excited or did your stomach go bloomp? So for me, it's a mix. It means I have a lot of work to do, but I'm also very excited to see family members. So we're going to talk about managing some of the stress, some of the things I've learned as I've gotten older about managing that stress and managing my expectations for what that holiday is going to be, which has really helped reduce my stress. So studies have shown that 60% of people feel more stressed due to the holidays. Not surprising, money is number one. Number two is staying healthy, eating right, and exercise. With all the extra work to do to get ready for Christmas, there's not as much time for exercise. And we all have those family members that make the most amazing Christmas candies and cookies, and it's hard not to indulge. Number three is getting the right gift, and we'll talk about some ideas for that. Busy schedules, and then family drama. So I don't know about you guys, but I think every family has one or two people that it's best to just keep your distance from, but at the holidays we're then back together, usually in an enclosed space, maybe a little bit of wine involved, and it can be very stressful. So holidays can be very high pressure, but we're going to talk about some ways to reduce that stress and be able to focus on enjoying the holidays a little bit more than in the past. So one of the things that I've learned as I've gotten older is that sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. I think we tend to put expectations on ourselves that are much bigger than what other people expect for us, which then adds extra pressure and stress to us. So I've started to look at where is the pressure coming from. I partially blame Hallmark because I do too. But everything is perfect. Everybody loves each other. I've never seen a town decorate that beautifully. Yeah. But it sets up an unrealistic expectation for what life should be like. And while it's fun to escape and watch them, I'm just joking, I love Hallmark, but I think it's kind of funny how everything is perfect. So who is really in control of our stress level? One of the things I've learned is I can't control a family member who says something rude. I can't control that something didn't work out properly, but I can very much control how I let that affect me. And whether it stresses me out or whether I laugh it off and move on. So that's something I've really been focusing on, and it's not easy to do, especially at the holidays if you want everything to be perfect. That's hard. But we really are in control of our stress level and our level of enjoyment. And I think the two are counteractive. So if we let the stress take over, we're not going to have as much fun at the holidays. So, and I tend to be a type A personality. This is my expectation for dinner. Martha Stewart, everything's perfect. We host Thanksgiving every year. Go all out, it's a full week production. Our holiday family sessions are more like Christmas Vacation. I don't know if you've seen that movie. You have to see it. It's really good at helping us laugh at all the funny but crazy things that happen during the holidays. So you've got a mix of all different types of people. It's my favorite movie. I watch it every year. You got to see it. All kinds of shenanigans that happen. Really just helps us learn. Nothing's going to go perfectly. Just laugh it off. So every year, my husband and I talk about all the great Christmas decorations we're going to do, and it's going to look wonderful, and that's usually what it ends up looking like. Because by the time we bought the presents, baked all the food, wrapped everything, got everything going, we're done. We're pooped out. Another thing with gifts I learned, and my stepson is very, very mellow, lowest key kid ever. And we'd always kind of chuckle because we get him a present and we're always like, this is the year. He's going to get really excited. So this is what we were always looking for. Right. His senior year, he really wanted home workout equipment. And Terry and I were like, this is going to be the year. He's going to get excited. So he opens it up and he goes, thanks. We're like, what? Where's the excitement? But for Tyler, that was excitement. We were never going to get this. We always got that. But it didn't mean that he didn't appreciate it. He used it every day. He absolutely loved it. But we needed to adjust our expectations to what his personality type was so that we weren't disappointed by what his normal reaction was, and understand that he showed appreciation by using it every day and working with it. So one thing I've learned over time is what leads to good satisfaction. And that is when expectations meet reality. So in customer service, we always say under-promise, over-deliver. And that's because their expectation is lower than what you're actually going to deliver them, so they feel like they got above and beyond. And the same is true with life. So if we expect that everything's going to be perfect and it's going to be 110%, that's never going to happen. If we accept the fact that there's going to be a few things that aren't perfect, but it's going to be 80% really, really awesome, then we're going to be satisfied. But if we're up here and this is what happens down here, that's going to lead to stress and disappointment. So let's be realistic about all the different aspects of the holidays, what's achievable, what's not, and what's really important. And by focusing on those things that are really important, it helps us let the other things go and be more satisfied with what happened with the holidays. So for me, the most important thing for me is spending time with my family. Because my husband and I both work a lot. We don't get a lot of quality time with some of our further away family. So yeah, I want decent food. I wouldn't mind getting a present. But to me, really, it's just having fun with family. And with our family, my in-laws go crazy for the holidays. And the whole focus of the day was on opening presents. And it got to the point where it's like, this really isn't healthy, and we're missing the whole point of what's going on. So we changed that up to where we spend the whole day there. Opening presents is just a portion of the day. We also have a meal. We have family game night. So there's a lot of other things that are happening that day so that the focus is also on family time, not just we open presents, everybody eats and falls asleep on the couch. Yeah. So we really tried to change that focus to the things that are more important. And then that, by turn, takes the pressure off of the gifts, because the gifts don't have to be the end-all be-all. It's the whole day that's satisfying. So it's really important to figure out what's the number one important thing to you. Is that staying healthy, staying within your budget, being with family, and then don't worry about the other stuff so much. So my definition of a good holiday now is, did I enjoy time with family and have good quality time? And that's really easy to achieve. The rest of it I really don't care about as much, as long as I have enough food to eat and I'm not starving. So I had a very good gentleman that I worked with when I was young, and he always told me, because he realized before I did that I was type A. He said, Mindy, don't sweat the small stuff. And guess what? Everything is small. And I didn't get that at the time, but now that I'm twice as old, I do understand what he meant. And realizing that I'm not going to remember next year that the turkey was a little bit overdone, but I am going to remember that I had a really good time with family. So don't worry about it. It'll be okay. And if you have to go to the Chinese restaurant and get the chicken at the Chinese restaurant, you'll be just fine. So my number one recommendation is have realistic expectations, both for yourself and family members. If they're not perfect, accept them for who they are and just be happy to have time with them. The second problem that people have is fighting the winter blues, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Exercise is really important, and one of the things that we see with seniors, especially if they're no longer able to drive, or even just with winter weather, it's harder for them to get out of the house, is that they're sedentary and they're missing out on social opportunities. And we often focus on, do they have enough to eat? Do they have heat in the home? Are they safe? It's very easy and very common to overlook the importance of that social side of things. And exercise, especially if you're able to get out and do exercise at the senior center or YMCA, there's a lot of social activity that goes on along with that. It also gets your endorphins going, which can fight depression, can improve your strength and mobility, which is really important in the winter because we want to prevent falls, and just overall really good for you. So there's lots of options for staying active, and we have clients that have a very difficult time getting up and walking. So for them, walking as exercise might not be a good option, but even lifting your arms or doing activities that are to the extent that you're able to do, any little bit can help get the blood flow going, get your juices flowing, and improve. And there are tons of opportunities in the community for different activities. So the other thing, we do a lot of family game nights. And this is excellent. Maureen, you were talking about the puzzles with the dementia kits. That is incredibly important because when we're sitting at home watching TV all day, we're not stimulating our brain. And just like any muscle, it needs to be active, and that drives endorphins and reduces depression as well.
I do Overdo games a lot, but I do board or card games where you've got to constantly be thinking.
Yep. And those are really good. I love the ones that are training your brain to be more creative, and there's so many different things out there now. Even online games, there's a lot of people that will play different online games with their grandkids. And you can talk over the internet, so it's like you're in the same room, and it's a way to stay connected and have a good time even though you're thousands of miles apart. The Senior Center has tremendous resources. Every time I'm down there, it's crazy busy. If I wasn't working, I'd probably be hanging out there myself.
Tuesday afternoon is senior bingo every week.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
And I don't do it to win $2.
No, it's lots of social, getting out of the house, just having a good time, right? So they do monthly trips. That's a great opportunity to meet new people. They have a game area. There's dance classes, you name it. There's all kinds of fun things going on down there. Also, they have periodic meals, and I have a slide. The Council on Aging and Disability is sponsoring Golden Dining Centers on Thursday, December 21st. So there's 5 different locations. In Janesville, it's at Riverview Heights, Milton at the Gathering Place, Clinton at the Senior Center, Beloit at Grinnell Hall, and in Evansville at Creekside Place. You have to be 60 or older and sign up in advance because it's first come, first serve. But they're providing a holiday meal on the 21st at about 11:30. Each location is a little different. The earliest one starts at 11:30.
You know, Echo has a Christmas dinner at St. William's on Christmas for you.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I've gone
I'll have
there
to add
several
that.
years.
Yep. So there's so many opportunities to have that holiday meal, even if it's not going to be with family, and socialize. YMCA, another great place that has a lot of different programs that you can get involved in just to stay active. The library. Fun programs like this. They have the dementia kits and lots of different things going on. So lots of different ways to stimulate your brain and be active. Even just getting to the library, walking around and looking at different books and kinds of things is another form of exercise too. So number 2, stay active. It's really easy in the winter to stay inside and sit down, and it's not healthy and it's counterproductive. So, and keep in mind too, the family members who may have a difficult time getting out. Some of our clients describe it feeling like the walls are closing in on them because they're in the same rooms for months. So how can you brighten their day by stopping by or taking them out for lunch? The little things can make a really big difference to them. So eating well during the holidays, nobody struggles with this, right? Yeah.
Too well.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting the way that plate sizes have changed. And I think this really, they talk about an obesity epidemic, and I think this probably has a lot to do with it. So back in the 60s, back in the 60s, the average dinner plate was about 9 inches and it held 800 calories, which is a healthy meal. Now in 2009, which this is an old statistic, it's probably bigger, it's 12 inches and it holds 1,900 calories. It's more than doubled. So we could be eating in one meal what we used to eat in 2. And I started playing around with using smaller plates because we have the regular dinner plates and then the bread plates. And when I was on a diet, so I was trying to eat less, and I put it on the big plate, and instantly I knew it wasn't going to fill me up. But it was mental. I started putting it on the small plate, which was overloaded on the small plate, but I was like, wow, look at how much food I have. And it was psychological about, not overeating. So I think we tend to pile it on until our plate's full, because that's what we learned as a kid. But as a kid, we were using the small plates, not the platters. Anybody have a food pusher in the family? Yeah. Yep, my father-in-law. Love him to death. He just wants all the food gone, all the drink gone. So he will constantly be pushing you to eat more, even though you've had 3 helpings. And he gets almost offended if you say no. So how have you guys handled that?
Nicely say no.
Yep. Yep. I've had a couple kind of heart-to-heart conversations with him because I could tell it was upsetting him, or if I didn't eat birthday cake, and just told him that, here's why I don't want to eat this much. I'm trying to be healthy. I've already eaten a lot. I appreciate that you want me to be full, and trust me that I am way more than full right now. And then he was okay with that. So it was just helping him understand why. I wasn't rejecting him and his food. I was trying to stay healthy, and that helped a lot.
And I suppose helping them understand that it has nothing to do with him.
Yes.
That it has to do with you.
Yep.
Yeah. Because sometimes they do almost take it as a personal affront.
And I think especially with the older generation, if they lived through the Depression, it's very special to them to be able to give you healthy food. And so that was very connected with him. And to him, it was his personal offering that I was rejecting. And once he understood that wasn't it at all, that I was very thankful for the food, and had already eaten twice as much as I normally would, then it was okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep. One of the things I'm doing, I switched over to a low-carb diet, and I've been feeling a lot better, and I was really concerned about how am I going to do that at the holidays, because that means no bread, no potatoes, no sweet potatoes, all things I love, but I actually feel worse when I eat that stuff. So I don't want to feel worse, I want to enjoy the day. So I decided I'm going to bring with me foods that are kind of treats to me, but healthy foods. So I make mashed cauliflower, which I didn't think would be delicious, but I actually like it better than mashed potatoes. Yeah, and it's a good substitute. So like at Thanksgiving, I brought that, and I brought some of my own things so I could have the full meal with everybody else and still be following what I wanted to do health-wise. Or I'll bring treats, appetizers, so I can fill up on things that are really good before the meal, then I'm not as tempted to have too many potatoes. So, or if you're diabetic, you can bring your own sugar-free candy along. So you can still engage in that meal and feel fully satisfied without compromising your health. So number 3, set some food goals. Make sure that, if you're worried about overeating, maybe have a light snack before the meal, but figure out ways that you can stay on track with being healthy and avoiding those foods that are going to make you feel worse. So next we're going to talk about health. Wintertime is very challenging, especially for seniors, in getting outside to get enough vitamin D. When I was talking with my doctor, because I have low vitamin D in the wintertime, and taking the supplements makes a big difference. And she said, because we use sunscreen so adamantly, that the bulk of Americans, even in the summer, are vitamin D deficient. And that can really affect mood and energy and all kinds of problems.
That's the one thing along with multivitamin that my doctor has me taking every day.
Yep.
And I can't stand pills, so I take gummies.
Oh, yeah.
Vitamin D and multi.
Yep. So we want to make sure that we're still getting our sunshine. A good rule of thumb is 15 minutes a day without the sunscreen. There's other ways you can get it too. So milk is fortified with vitamin D. A lot of foods like salmon, broccoli are high in vitamin D. You can also take supplements, which is an easy way. They even make happy lamps. So it's just a little lamp that you sit in front of for like 15 minutes a day, and it's the right spectrum to generate vitamin D naturally. So if you can't get out into the sunshine, you can sit in front of your happy lamp every day and still have the benefit of sunshine being inside. So
Sounds like fun.
yeah, we almost got one for my old boss. So winter is coming. We've been really lucky so far. We don't have tonight, yes. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that we're dressing warm because cold and flu season is coming up. We want to make sure that we're not getting a chill. Or for seniors who have a little bit more challenge regulating body temperature, this can be really big because you want to make sure that they're warm when they're outside. Falls are the #1 cause of senior hospitalization, and often a fall results in a permanent change in quality of life. If they break a hip or they break a bone, it's not going to heal as well, and oftentimes they're not as independent following that event.
Dean Care with the Department of Aging in Rock County put a program on called Stepping On.
Yeah.
I'm actually the poster person. I go in and talk because almost 3 years ago, I had extremely high blood pressure and I had a substantial heart murmur. I committed to working out 10 minutes a day on the treadmill. I had cataracts, which were operated on after I turned 65, but I was blaming the feelings I had on the cataracts. And after going on meds and starting to work out, after 3 weeks, I felt better. Well, I now work out an hour and 15 minutes a day. I do all the stepping on, for core and balance. And so I actually, they have me come in and talk to the people when they have a class to share my experience. And the joke is, I hate exercise. Detest it with a passion.
Yeah.
And I have my e-reader, and I read while I'm exercising. That's my reward.
That's what I do too.
But anyway, so the joke is always with Angie, who's the nurse that coordinates it at Dean, that I hate it, but I do it. But I can share the benefits.
Yeah.
But I wish more people like you, and maybe you do, share about the stepping on, because when I took the class, there was only a couple people.
I'm sorry. It's okay.
There were only a couple people that were physically able to do it. I mean, a lot of them had walkers or canes. And I'm thinking to myself, why are people waiting so long?
Yeah.
I took it because I didn't want to get there.
Yeah.
And I have to say, since I've been exercising, I probably haven't been as healthy as I am now since I was in my mid-40s.
Yeah. I think, and I catch myself doing it, we always think it's never going to happen to us. That happens to somebody older than me. Well, I'm 20 years later. The things I always said were going to happen when I'm older are happening now.
I wear Actrax too when it's slippery out.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, and it's amazing just how much, just a little bit of stretching and activity can maintain your physical capabilities. If we don't use our muscles, they start to deteriorate, no matter what your age is.
Especially your arm muscles.
Yeah.
I do 11 different exercises.
Really?
With my arms, 30 reps, and I do 3 sets, and I do 3-pound weights.
Nice. Getting some good pipes.
Very strong calves.
Yep. It doesn't take much, it's surprising, and then you start feeling a lot
What
better.
it is my blood pressure, I mean, I'm on meds, but my blood pressure is like 110/70. And 6 months later, when she did my pre-surgery physical for cataracts, she had told me in January that I had a heart murmur. She didn't tell me until August that I had a substantial heart murmur in January. I don't have a heart murmur.
Really?
It went away.
Huh. That's amazing. Think of what the trajectory would have been if you wouldn't have changed the lifestyle. Yeah.
I took it as a warning.
Yep. Yep, that's why I did the keto diet, because I found out I was pre-diabetic, and I feel 100% better. You just never know. All that stuff is happening to me now as I get older. So you want to make sure with preventing falls, making sure to salt the driveway, making sure that you're wearing good boots with a good sole. If you have a neighbor who is having a hard time with snow removal, offer to help. One of the things, heart attack risk is very high shoveling snow. And a lot of times, you're going out, you're doing it quick, your blood vessels are constricting because of the cold, but then they're trying to expand because of the extra work and your body heating up, and it can be a very dangerous situation. So,
See, since I've been exercising like I do, shoveling, because I have to shovel for Maggie.
Yeah.
Besides my patio, I shovel
Yeah.
in her area because she disappeared. And I park outside, so I have to shovel around my car, even though they plow. Shoveling is no problem. right?
yeah. But now your heart's used to that cardiac exercise, so it's no big deal.
Yeah. This last week, I actually added skipping rope to my
Did you?
exercise.
Good for you. So we'll talk about this in a bit with opportunities for Christmas presents, but we started looking at things that, one, we didn't have to pay for right at Christmas, and two, meant more than just the small present. So for example, my father-in-law, who's in his early 70s, we were really concerned with him doing the snow. And they have a long driveway. So one of his Christmas presents for the past few years has been we pay for his snow removal, which is nice for us because we don't have to pay it till January, February, March. So we don't have to pay in December. And we live too far away to do it, but that gives us peace of mind that he's not going to be risking it. Now, we had to have a talk because he would always go shovel for the snow plow.
Will he wait?
Yes. And we said no. Yep. You should be drinking your coffee, waving.
That's right.
And that's all you need to do. Yes. And you have nowhere to go today, so you can wait if they're an hour late. Cold and flu season is coming up. Cold and flus can be very detrimental for seniors. Yep. So flu shot. Yep. And then also washing your hands repeatedly. I keep hand sanitizer in my car. I'm kind of a germ freak, but when I go to the grocery store or to Walmart, when I get back in, I do hand sanitizer because I'm sure, whoever touched it before me probably had a cold. And then if you're around somebody who is sick, or if you're sick, wearing a face mask can be really helpful too. So
I've never been one to do that. I'd like to start doing it, but believe it or not, I forget. Is there a way to reinforce it?
Which way? Which one? The hand sanitizer? Or?
Washing my hands.
Oh.
And, anything like
Yep.
that.
Yep. I think it's easy for me because I'm a germ freak, I think. And one thing too is, do you know how long you're supposed to wash your hands with soap before you rinse them?
You're supposed to sing the ABC song.
Yeah.
Because Maggie and I worked with kids the first 2 years, and that first year we worked with first graders and special ed kids. I had cold after cold after cold.
Yeah.
Kids are little germ bags.
Yes.
But I was told to wash my hands and sing the ABC song.
Yeah, because it's tempting. Like before I heard that, I rub all over, but I don't do it for the full 30 seconds.
But
So.
I need to remember to do it. I don't
Yeah.
think about it.
Yep. For me, if I have it like on my desk or in my purse, and I see it more frequently. And it depends. If I'm just working at my desk, I don't worry about it. But if I go touch, if I'm sick, I try not to touch things around the office, or I'll sanitize behind myself. But if I'm touching stuff that somebody is sick with in the office, I'll do hand sanitizer when I get back. But mostly just having it visible, like maybe even by your kitchen sink. So you're seeing it on a regular basis, it'll start kind of
Well, the soap's right
sinking
there,
in your
but I
head. Don't think of it. Yeah. Maybe like a big sign on your fridge. Or next time you're sick, take a picture on the worst day and post that on the fridge, and then you'll remember I don't ever want to be like that again. Okay, so number 4, try to stay healthy. It's not always possible to avoid it, but if we're eating well, keep our immune system strong, getting exercise, and then watching our germ exposure, we can reduce a lot of things. So the next thing I want to talk about is keeping busy. One thing I've learned is that it's really hard to be depressed or feel sorry for yourself when you're serving others and helping other people. One, it reminds us that whatever problems we're having really probably aren't that bad, so get over it. And 2, it releases endorphins and helps us feel good to know that we're helping somebody without being asked, out of the kindness of our heart, and helping give them a leg up. So keeping busy prevents us from having that time to feel depressed. So Rock County Council on Aging, I've just got a few different examples. There's a bazillion out there. They're looking for volunteers to distribute their senior review newsletter. They're always looking for volunteers to help deliver Meals on Wheels to seniors, which can be an extremely rewarding experience, and you get to meet a lot of new people. There's all kinds of opportunities to support the troops. So if you have somebody who maybe can't get out and deliver meals, but they can write letters, they could write letters of support to the troops and their family. And then, with a lot of our clients, they're veterans, so it comes full circle for them. So it's a great way for them to give back. Volunteering at a food pantry. This time of year, there's all kinds of meals going on, and there's always extra hands needed. There's a gentleman in town that has dementia, and he fixes up old bikes and gives them to kids who don't have a bike. So he was very hands-on and mechanical throughout his career, so he has a good time doing it. It's mentally stimulating, and he's giving back to the community. So I thought that was a great idea. Hospital and hospice, the volunteers there, sometimes it's nice just to have somebody sit with you or talk with the family. And everyone I've talked to that's volunteered at the hospital and through hospice, you get so much more out of it than you give, that it's truly a growing experience and very rewarding. And it can mean a tremendous amount to the family that you're helping as well. Kids groups, boys and girls clubs, they're always looking for volunteers. That's a great way to have an impact and share what we've learned. I always say I wish I could go back to 20-year-old Mindy. So I have a lot of advice for her.
Don't we all?
Yes.
Not for 20-year-old Mindy, but
oh, I'm sure you have some for that too. But.
Yes. Oh.
That's why volunteering in the children's library.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. You get to help shape that mind and help them grow up to be great things.
To watch them blossom.
Yep. Yeah, kids are amazing. Another way to help too is just in your neighborhood. And we'll talk about families being spread out in a minute, but we all have people in our neighborhood who maybe can't travel, don't have kids, or they're not nearby. How can we help them, whether it's shoveling the snow or inviting them over for a holiday dinner, checking in on them once in a while. But each time we're doing that, we're feeding our own good feelings and helping give back at the same time. So it's a great way to fight off the winter blues. A lot of people love to make blankets and hats. I'm a quilter myself, so I love this kind of stuff for babies, foster children, blood donors, cancer patients, veterans. The fidget blankets for Alzheimer's clients, those are awesome too. And those are other great activities that you can do at home, even if you're not able to get out of the house.
What's a fidget blanket?
It's a little lap-sized blanket that will have like different things that they can tie and put things together.
Have a zipper on it.
Yeah.
Or a string
So
of
it's kind of like an
beads.
activity blanket.
Yeah.
It is,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Keeps their hands moving.
Yep.
Okay.
So stay busy and help others as much as you can. To me, that for me is my biggest way to fight off winter blues or depression, because it's extremely difficult to feel sorry for yourself when you're helping other people. So let's talk about families being farther apart. Or no family, yep. So,
My problem.
yeah, and that's challenging, yep. I don't have any kids of my own, but my stepson Tyler is in the Marines, so we're empty nesters. And it can be hard sometimes when, especially at the holidays, I think that kind of shines a beacon on the fact that family isn't close by or we don't have a lot of family. So we kind of have to create a new family. And to me, family has become a very relative term. I have some dear friends that are like sisters to me, but I also have blood relatives. So family is all the people you love in my book. So with technology today, we have some amazing new opportunities to stay connected with Skype, FaceTime on the iPhones. Skype is free, so you can basically have a video call with a family member for free. I would recommend increasing the frequency of those calls during the holidays. Or maybe if you can't be there for opening gifts, you can do the Skype so that you can still be part of that even though you're not in the same room. But really trying to utilize that as much as possible. We've heard stories of caregivers bringing Skype into a client and they hadn't talked to their sister, they talked to her but hadn't seen her in 20 years because neither one of them could travel. So they got to see each other through Skype and it was just an amazing experience for everybody.
You know, there's also a face-to-face message type of thing on Facebook.
Oh, really? Since
Yeah.
when?
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook all the time. I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that either. It doesn't surprise me, it makes sense.
How do you do it?
You click the little icon.
What icon is it?
Well, it looks like a little camera.
Okay.
Yeah, you go into the place where your messages come, your Facebook messages, you know, the place.
Right, where the world is.
And so anybody that you are friends with, you cannot call somebody that you're not friends with,
Okay.
as far as I know.
Okay.
And,
So if they're on Facebook, you can see them.
yes, it is really cool. My husband and I both have Apple products, and when he's away, during the summer, he's doing his thing up at the Boy Scout camp all summer. And so we did FaceTime, and it was free to us because we have, he has an iPhone and I have a Mac, a computer. And but this last year, we used Facebook, and it was so much better. So much better. Great, it's great. Yeah.
Try it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because do you need to have a camera or something for Skyping, correct?
Yeah.
And for this, you also
Yeah,
have.
I don't have that, then, so
Okay.
it wouldn't work.
And they're not that expensive. You can buy them and they
Okay.
just sit on top of your
Yeah.
monitor.
2 years ago, I live in a big apartment complex, Village Green East. 2 years ago, I had 5 bullet snappers move in above me, and I adopted them, and I started going to their games, and I went, well, this last year, I missed 3 out of 70. I get in, they write me down. But I have, they taught me how to text, and I've got the government cell phone that, you don't see a picture, but you can text on.
Yeah.
And I have 2 of them, one in Texas, and actually one who's in Venezuela right now playing winter ball, that texts me every day.
Really? That's awesome.
That's great.
Are they all from the States or from outside?
No, they're all from the States, but like
Okay.
the one that's playing in Venezuela is actually from Miami.
Okay.
Another one that I'm really close to is in Dallas. And actually about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, my cell phone rang. And I use it for emergency. I mean, I went, whoa, I was sitting at my computer. I picked up the phone and I heard, hi Deb, this is Matt. And the first thing I said is, you know how to dial a telephone. He's the one, he was in South Carolina, he's working on his master's degree, the one from Dallas. But he spent 15 minutes, he was just calling, see how Maggie and I were.
That's
That
awesome.
meant the world. But normally it's the texting back and forth.
Especially the younger generation.
Yeah, and one of them actually is very close to the fires in LA right now, so we're back and forth, are you still okay, are you safe? And he's always sending back to me, still okay, fire's not close, whatever.
Yeah.
Because you see the horror stories.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. But yeah, 2 of them I'm real close to.
Well, that's awesome. See, family is just whoever you love.
Well, they call me Mom.
Do they?
What I miss is, I would get, after every game and even before games, I get probably a half a dozen hugs. So I'm hug deprived.
Yeah.
You have to talk to other players into replacing the hugs for them.
I think a couple of them, I think will be back here this year, I don't know. I think the one in
nice.
Dallas will be.
So that was a great lead into our next topic. You know, if we don't have family in town, let's start a new tradition. Let's find someone who maybe isn't able to do their own dinner and bring them in, even if it's a stranger. Talked with the churches and the different groups, and there's plenty of people that would appreciate a great meal. Invite your neighbors and friends. Yep. So there's lots of opportunities to fill that time with very positive experiences so that we're, again, not sitting and feeling sorry for ourselves because we don't have anything going on. So that staying busy and just engaging and being happy with what's possible can really go a long way.
I watch Hallmark movies all day.
Do ya?
It's the one day a year, Maggie, I mean, as much as I love Maggie, and normally it doesn't bother me, Christmas is hard.
Yeah.
So if I don't go out, if it's bad weather, I make sure I have a nice dinner.
Yeah.
And I watch Hallmark, and we get through it.
Yeah. Well,
For me,
that's
that's
just
what it
it.
is.
Spoil
Get
yourself.
through the day.
Find a way to make it a good day.
An okay day.
Yeah.
And not feel sorry for yourself.
Yep. So family stress, we touched on this a little bit. We may be able to influence our family but not control how they act. Really, for me, the biggest thing has been practicing how I respond to that and whether or not I let it impact me. Because if I let it impact me and it ruins my day, then I'm not doing myself any favors. So we're going to talk about that. One of my biggest things, which is a work in progress for me, is let it go. And just focus on what do I want to get out of this Christmas. I want to have a really good time with my family, and that's all that matters to me. This little piece over here doesn't matter. So if there are family dynamics, which every family has them, I've learned that if they say everything's perfect, they're probably not telling me the truth because we're human. But really, you know, the high expectations, unrealistic expectations, family drama, all of those things, just let them go and focus on what's really important to you. Tiger doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of the sheep. So,
That's interesting.
yeah, I liked that one. I've learned as I get older that I need to not give other people as much power as I have in the past. Don't worry about what they're talking about because it doesn't really matter. And you shouldn't know anyway what they're saying about you.
I have a thing where I keep a Q-tip handy. I have one on my desk, and I have one in my purse, and it's just a Q-tip. But it reminds me to quit taking it personal.
Oh, yeah,
All of them.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
So financial stress, that's a big one for everybody during the holidays. And we've really, as a family, cut back. When we looked at, you know, all of our focus was on the presents, and it was really out of balance. You know, not only did we add other family aspect to it, but we really, as a family, decided we're going to cut back. Everybody still has a great Christmas, but it's not insane. The other thing we started looking at, and I realized just by accident, that sometimes the most appreciated and needed gifts are intangible things that don't cost you anything. So when my sister had young kids, she asked us to watch the kids for the weekend, which was no big deal to me, but to her it was huge because they never got to sleep in, they never got time to themselves, and I hadn't even thought to offer that because to me, she could ask me anytime she wanted, but she didn't want to put the burden on me, but it was a huge thing for her. So I realized at that point, there's lots of things that I can give and do that don't cost me any money, benefit me and my nieces because we get to spend time together. And for Amy, that was the most amazing thing. So really look at what can you do for that person that's really going to mean a lot to them that maybe doesn't cost you any or much money. And it could be taking care of the pets when they're out of town so they don't have to go to the kennel. It could be housekeeping because they've been sick and they just can't get caught up. It could be shoveling the snow for them. Just little things that really mean a lot, but aren't going to put a financial burden on them. What we've done in the past, or even like with my niece who wanted to learn how to sew, I made up a really cute little coupon that was a ticket for a free sewing lesson. So you kind of make up little things so they're getting something and then they can just give it to you whenever they need to cash it in. Other things can be like grandma's favorite recipes, a photo album, baked goods, homemade items, so things that have a lot of, I think, intrinsic value, but maybe don't cost so much money. It doesn't have to be expensive to be effective. So put together a budget and stick to it, which is really hard to do. But if we don't have a budget, we're just going to spend willy-nilly. We're probably not going to be balanced on how much we spend on each person, and then we're going to go back and buy more for the other people, which is just going to blow it up even more. So figure out a plan. Who am I buying a gift for? How much do I want to spend? And really stick to that, which can help really lower that stress due to finances. And like we talked about with the snow shoveling, maybe if there is a cost involved, look at something that maybe you don't have to pay for right away in December. So if it's going to happen in the future, then you're able to handle those little bumps instead of a great big one all at Christmas. So those are my recommendations. I really think number one to me is the most important, about having realistic expectations so that we're not setting ourselves up for disappointment. If we accept what is realistic, then we're going to enjoy that much more and just be relaxed. And I noticed myself, even with Thanksgiving, when I just took it down a notch, I was so stressed out before when I thought everything had to be perfect that I wasn't enjoying it. And by the time it came, I just wanted it over with because I was so exhausted mentally and physically. And I just took it down a notch. I'm not even sure if anybody noticed that we did. But then I was more relaxed. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't snippy with my husband. And we just had a good time and enjoyed it. So it made a huge difference. Stay active. Make sure you have goals for your food and your health. Stay busy and help others. That can really help make sure that we're in the right state of mind. Stay connected with friends and family and be social. Rise above it all if there's family dynamics. And make sure that you're sticking to your budget. So, any questions? No? Okay. Well, that's all I had. Thanks, everybody, for coming.